Good afternoon. I am here to brief you on an incident that occurred earlier today here at Grand Central Station. I am joined by our Chief of Transit, Joe Galata, and Paul Muggio, our Executive Officer of the Force Investigation Division. The information that I'm about to provide is preliminary and it is subject to change. At approximately 9:40 a.m., two officers, detectives assigned to transit overtime posts, were flagged down by a civilian reporting that a man armed with a knife had just stabbed multiple people on the subway platform. As the detectives moved toward the 456 platform, they encountered one of the victims coming up the stairs, confirming the attack. From the top of the stairs, they observed the individual on the platform and they immediately ordered him to drop the knife. The individual was armed with a large knife, described as a machete, and was behaving erratically, repeatedly stating that he was Lucifer. The individual refused to comply with at least 20 orders to drop the knife. Officers also attempted to de-escalate and offer assistance, saying, "We are going to get you help." He then advanced toward the officers with the knife extended. One officer discharged his firearm, striking the perpetrator twice. Officers immediately began performing life-saving measures. The individual was transported to Bellevue Hospital and he was pronounced deceased. The perpetrator is identified as 44-year-old Anthony Griffin, who has 3 unsealed prior arrests. He does not have documented EDP history with this department. According to a review of security camera footage, Griffin entered the subway system at the Vernon Boulevard station in Queens at around 9:30 this morning. He then boarded a 7 train to Grand Central Station. Once there, he slashed one individual on the 7 train platform before moving upstairs to the 456 platform, where he has slashed 2 additional victims. One of the victims, an 84-year-old man, sustained significant lacerations to the head and the face on the 7 train platform. Another, a 65-year-old man, sustained similar injuries, as well as an open skull fracture on the 456 platform. And a third victim suffered a laceration to the shoulder, also on the 456 platform. All 3 victims were transported to Bellevue Hospital. Based on current information, their injuries are not believed to be life-threatening at this time. No officers were injured in this incident, and the whole incident was captured on body-worn camera. This remains an active investigation, and we will provide additional information as it becomes available. But what I will say is this: our officers were confronted with an armed individual who had already injured multiple people and was continuing to pose a threat. They gave clear commands, they attempted to de-escalate, and when that threat did not stop, they took decisive action to stop it and to protect New Yorkers on one of the busiest train platforms in the city. Incidents like this show the reality of this work. Officers step into situations where the risks are immediate and the stakes are high. They make decisions in tight spaces, in real time, with lives around them. And it is exactly why we've recently increased our presence in the transit system. We recently added more than 175 additional officers to subway patrol. That is in addition to our transit overtime posts, and you will continue to see them throughout the system. Their focus is on preventing violence and responding immediately when something happens, just as they did today. They work to ensure that the millions of people who ride our subways each day can do so safely. I want to thank the officers who took action today and all NYPD officers for their noble service to this city.
No, at this time we don't believe they're known to each other. These appear to be random acts.
So random acts of violence scare everyone. Anyone can be a victim of a random act of violence, and that is why it is so important for New Yorkers to understand that the NYPD has recently upped our presence in the transit system, including right here in Grand Central Station. We've added over 175 additional officers just last month to transit. That is in addition to all of our transit overtime posts that we have each day. And the job and the mission of all the officers assigned to the transit system is to keep the millions of New Yorkers who use our transit system safe. And unfortunately, when incidents like this happen, they respond immediately.
Jelajahi cara baru mendapatkan informasi. Download MetroTV Extend sekarang.